Hey, welcome. This is me, your host, Mwape Chintu. Welcome to my very first entry to the Mwape Chintu Podcast, which is a monthly podcast series dedicated to everyone who wants to improve themselves, who's doing some soul searching, and basically wants to improve themselves, right? Because I feel like in life, we're kind of on a journey, and at the same time, we're not, because a journey assumes that there is an endpoint, right? In a journey, we want to go from point A to B. While I feel like with life, it's kind of the same thing, but there is no end goal, that you should be, trying to achieve. There should be a continuous, you should have more of a continuous approach to it where you complete one goal and you say, okay, next goal, and then next goal, and then next goal. So in that case, it's not really a journey in that sense because there's no end goal. But, if you want to do some soul searching and you want to improve your self-esteem or mental health, and be more, in the present moment, then this is definitely a podcast for you. But thank you so much for stopping by. Welcome, you beautiful, but yet pervy bastards. If you have no idea what I'm referring to, I recently did a poll on my Instagram account where I asked people if they wanted to see more of my shirtless selfies because I work out, and I like to see my progress right afterwards. And 80% of you, which the majority of them were women, said, hell yeah, Mwape, we want to see your shirtless selfies. While the other 20% were mostly men, were like, Mwape, yeah, keep that to yourself. But anyway, I'm coming at you live today from the beautiful city of Vienna. And I'm going to try to do this in one take, of course, because I'm going to try to be as real as possible. And, this podcast series will be mostly based in Vienna. So, except for maybe in the month of June, July, or August, where I'll be coming at you live from the beautiful city of Tokyo. So, the topic for today's podcast is embracing your fears, a key to finding your true self. I wrote a little quote for you guys here, and the quote says, most people talk themselves out of going after what they want because they value comfort over greatness. They let fear of rejection and failure dictate their actions. They are afraid of being judged and make every excuse in the book. What if I look like a fool? That's one of my personal favorites, by the way. I think DJ Crivano is someone who has heard that quite a lot, but let's continue. I'm just too old for that. I'm not successful enough, or I don't have a lot of money. The truth is, everyone is a fool, and so are you. You cannot make a bigger fool out of yourself, and you should accept this reality and accept yourself as who you are, and know that there is only one thing that you should truly fear, and that is success. Now, one of the things that you need to be aware of when you're asking things like, what if I look like a fool, for instance? Or what if I fail? What if I do this? What if people judge me? Every time you say these words, you're essentially reevaluating, or you're essentially confirming your lower status to everyone. You're essentially looking at society and saying, hey, I am lower value than you. So therefore, I should be looking up to you, and I should be more concerned whether you think that I'm worthy enough, whether you think that I'm weird, or whether you think this and this and this. And this is not a healthy way to be viewing yourself. And you can't possibly have a healthy self-esteem if the only thing you're worried about is whether people think that you're weird. I mean, of course, there's something called social intelligence where, I mean, of course, you don't want to, for instance, walk into the U-Bahn naked or something like this. I mean, you can do this, okay? You can do this. And to be honest, here in Vienna, no one is going to care. I mean, people may glance at you for 1 second and be like, oh, that's cool. That's something that you don't see every day, but they'll move on with their lives, right? So of course you need to do something you need to be more aware of what you're doing, that you're acting in a decent way that's more humanly, but you need to be more focused on your own self-value. Okay. And this is something that I can't stress enough, which is that, for anyone who's listening to this, okay, so yeah, that's you who's listening, or anyone who's not listening. Okay. It doesn't matter. You are the most precious jewel in this entire universe. There is no one like you. You can travel to the furthest reaches of the universe or the galaxy or whatever, and you will never find anyone who is exactly like you. That's an impossibility. At the same time, though, this is what I like to call the paradox of human value, which is, I don't know whether that's something that exists already. I just came up with that, which is that from in a grand scheme of things, human life really isn't that important. If, for instance, a black hole was to come into Earth's orbit, and destroy us all, in the grand scheme of things, everything will happen, or there won't be much change in the universe that anything stops happening, or there won't be a noticeable change. So in that sense, it makes absolutely no difference. But at the same time, you are the only one in this universe who is exactly like you, and once you're gone, that's it. You won't find a precious jewel like you. So keep that in mind. Okay, you can take one form or the other. You can either take the form where you say, yeah, I'm pretty worthless because if the Earth were to disappear, then no one will care, or no one will realize. Or on the other hand, you can think of it and say, hey, I'm actually the most precious jewel in the entire universe. I can't say precious for some weird reason tonight. Okay, whatever. Yeah, I'm the most precious jewel in this entire universe. So why wouldn't I value myself, you know? So you can choose. And from my personal experience, I would highly recommend that you choose the latter, which is that you see yourself as valuable, because you are valuable. This is how you spread value, because when you see yourself as someone who is valuable, then you spread that value to other people, right? You see some old lady in the tram and then you help her, you know, you're smiling, you're doing all these things, and you're making the world a better place. While on the other hand, if you're seeing yourself as nobody, then nothing that you do really makes much of a difference if you think about that, right? And you don't really care about the environment. You don't care about that old lady in the U-Bahn. You don't care whether someone is having issues or anything like that. You just don't care because you don't value yourself, right? So I highly recommend, okay, which may seem a bit trivial, but this is not trivial for some people who are going through depression or have a lot of anxiety, which is that you need to be aware that you are the most precious jewel. I can't say it again. Precious jewel in the entire universe. So think about that, right? So, and one thing that I can reaffirm, or that I can talk about, that reassures that we all have these feelings, okay? You're not the only one in the world who has these feelings, because sometimes we feel like we're alone, you know? Am I the only one who feels this way? Am I the only one who has this sort of feeling of emptiness, or that feels like I'm on the wrong path, you know? And the truth is, you're not the only one. And that's even me, the guy who's trying to give this teaching. And I'll give you an example. Okay, right when I was writing this quote, and I'll get to this in just a second. which is that one of my main goals for 2019 was to become a more social person. Because as I look back on my life, I kind of realized that I'm probably one of the most antisocial people that I've ever met. Yeah, I've met myself. Yeah, whatever. So for me, like, I want to feel more like a well-rounded person, you know. So you need to improve on all your weaknesses to feel more, you know, to feel better in that sense. So no, I'm sitting in the library. I'm waiting for my meeting for the racing team, and this gorgeous woman sits right opposite me. Yeah, I know you're gonna be like, yeah, Mwape, you're one of these people. Yeah, I'm one of those guys. I'm pretty honest about what I what I feel. So I don't hide my dick in a sense. That's what it's called. That's what the saying goes. So I saw this little beautiful woman, and immediately the thought was, what if I look like a fool? You know, I really want to tell this woman that she looks gorgeous today. You know, like, she obviously put time today to look great. So, you know, why not just give her a compliment and say, hey, you look gorgeous. You look really nice today, or something like that. And of course, the initial thought was, what if I look like a fool? What if she thinks I'm a weirdo? But immediately I came to the realization that I'm kind of being hypocritical by not following my own teachings. So I said, you know what? Screw that. Let me finish writing this quote and tell her exactly how I think she looks like. So that's exactly what I did. I finished writing the quote, and I turned to her and I said, hey, excuse me. I know this may sound weird, but I just saw you, and I just really wanted to say that you look absolutely drop dead gorgeous. And her face lit up, and she turned red like a freaking tomato, which is really cute. I really like that. And she was like, yeah, really? Wow, thanks. No one has ever said that to me. Wow, you're so blah 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 blah. And then we had a really good conversation, and she was like really, really positive. It was positive. It was fun. And, you know, there's just good vibes going. And, you know, at the end, we just exchanged, kisses on the cheek, and then we parted ways. But every time we see each other now, like, it's just kind of like, you know, this nice little bond, you know, and it's out of nowhere, it's out of thin air. And, this is all because, you know, I went against the fear. Okay. I acknowledge that, that this is weird, which is calling out the fear. Okay. Which is something that you need to do, because you can't eliminate fear completely. That's not what courage is being about. Courage is more about acknowledging that there's fear, but still going and doing it anyway. So I called out the fear. I said, hey, this is weird. But yeah, this is what I think. And when you call out the fear, then there's no power to it anymore. So that is what being courageous is all about. And if I hadn't been courageous, then I would have met this really wonderful person. So yeah, that's the moral of the story. As long as you're not hurting anyone, you need to go after what you want, and you need to be honest, because people really appreciate honesty, and they value authenticity. So people are really scared of being judged and looking like a fool or whatever it is. But you should know that you need to embrace your fears, and you need to be fearless in the sense that you acknowledge that the fear is there, right? Acknowledge that the fear is there. That's the first point I wanted to bring, which is that there is no need to hide or pretend that you don't have fears. You know, a lot of guys, you know, like, we walk through the street, we're like, yeah, we're the alpha male, you know, that's that sort of thing. Yeah, we have no fears, you know, we go after what we want, blah 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 blah. But the reality is, in the back of the mind, most of us are really scared. Okay, most of us are scared, especially when it comes to talking to women. Most of us are really scared because it's really weird. You think, what the hell am I gonna say? What if I look like a fool? But from my experience, women do love to meet men. So if you look decent, then that shouldn't be a problem. But anyway, I'm going on a weird tangent today. But that's mostly because I'm focusing on social aspects. So for me, it's going to be more or less in this region. So as I just said, it's not a problem if you have fear, but the action is required, just like everything in life. Sometimes you get fired from your job, or you get run over by a tram, or anything, and it's how you react which makes a difference. In the case of where you get run over by a tram, I actually don't know how you would react to that. Scream and cry for help so that people come to you, or what? I don't know, whatever. But in the case of losing a job, you need to take action, of course. If you just lie in your bed and cry, then you're not really going to improve yourself, or you're not really going to improve your job prospects, right? You need to take action, because it's action that is required in life. And the first step to taking action is to accept the situation. Very few people accept the situation as it is. They want to perceive the situation differently, or which is basically based on the three timelines, which is the past, the present, and the future. Most of us are living in the past. You're still regretting something that happened 30 years ago, or you wish you hadn't done this, you hadn't done that. And some of us, the daydreamers like me, for instance, we're living in the future, like we're imagining we're billionaires, we've built the latest technology in, I don't know, in the electrics field, for instance. And you're imagining just how it would look like, to be there, which is also, it's very healthy for you to do. But very few people live actually in the moment. So the first key to accepting, or to taking action, is to accept the situation as it is. The situation is not different to what it is. You're not living in the future when this situation happens. For instance, you get fired. So let's talk about in the case that you get fired. You're not going to be, it's not really practical to be daydreaming about the new job that you should have had, or something like this. What is more useful is to accept the situation and say, hey, you know what? Yeah, I got fired. But this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to take action. I'm going to send you applications. I'm going to work on my skills. And I'm going to go into these social meetings that happen frequently throughout the cities, about entrepreneurship or whatever. And when you do this, over time, you will see that you'll be more prepared for other things in life. So accept the situation for what it is, and be honest with yourself, and be honest with what you want. Most of us don't want what we have right now. We want something more. We want this Lamborghini Super Sport. We want this new job. We want this and this and that. Be honest with what you want, and people will make fun of you. I remember when I first started playing guitar, I really wanted to be like John Mayer, which I think right now is kind of like an impossibility, but I feel like I can get to at least a close level where I can play what I hear in my head, which I have to do a lot of ear training for that. But I remember when I started playing guitar, and people were laughing like, "Mwape, why would you be playing guitar? You can't even read music. Just stick to computer science or something in the tech field. That's something that's more suited for you." Because I don't think guitar is for you, and you're not gonna make any money from it. So why would you bother playing guitar, right? And when they see me play guitar now, it's not really a joke anymore, because I'm getting pretty close to what I want to be doing as a guitarist, which is actually pretty crazy, because I've been playing guitar for 4 years now. And it's so satisfying pulling off some really fast John Mayer licks on the guitar. Like it's way too satisfying. And another situation was with computer science. I remember coming into computer science class one day. I'd never written a single code in my life. And I remember walking into the classroom, and I know some of my friends were just laughing, saying, "What, Mwape, you're gonna do computer science now? You've never even done code before. Just stick to making 3D models in this, I forgot, yeah, design tech. Yeah, that's the name of that class." And yeah, when they look at me now, they're not really laughing at all, because it's no longer laughing matter, because it's not necessarily what other people think about you. It's more whether or not you believe in yourself. You need to embrace this notion that, yeah, you may fail, or people are gonna laugh at you, or people are gonna do whatever, but in the end, you still need to be going after what you want. And I think I'm kind of the proof of that from my experience, and you can be too. There's nothing special that I do. It's mostly time and hard work. If you just spend a little bit of time every day to focus on a new skill, you can become an expert in a few years. And that's not even an exaggeration. So the next thing I wanted to talk about was being careful, okay? And you need to be careful with what you tell yourself. And you need to change your belief system. And this is something that I kind of touched upon in the beginning when I was referring to the quote, which is the thing about being a fool, okay? You're scared that you're looking like a fool, and all this and all that. People are gonna make fun of you. People are gonna laugh. You're gonna be the laughing stock of the whole entire world, blah, 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 which is, I can't say this word, but it's really difficult. Catastrophizing, something like that, where you imagine the worst possible thing. And from an evolutionary point of view, it's important to understand why humans would do this. Is because you want, the brain wants to keep you safe. Okay, you don't want to be doing the most extreme things, because you don't want to die. That's the main point of this, is to keep you safe and to keep you alive for as long as possible, of course. And when it comes to what to tell yourself, it's very important that you focus not really on what you're saying, but on why you're telling yourself these things, okay? Okay, so for instance, let's go back to my favorite example. What if I look like a fool? Okay. At the surface, what if I look like a fool seems more like something that's just, just an inquiry, yeah, what if I look like a fool? But the reality, the reason why you're asking yourself this question is because you see yourself as lower value. And that's a very dangerous point, or that's a very dangerous thing to be having, where you see yourself as lower value as another person. But of course, you cannot stop negative thoughts from appearing in your mind. This is an impossibility. Even Sadhguru can't do something like this. All it comes with, or what you can do about this, is mostly meditating. Okay, that's something that I do pretty frequently. Just 10 minutes a day, once in the morning, where you focus on the positives, which ties into positive affirmations. So tell yourself positive affirmations. I am wonderful. I am lovable. I am interesting. I am funny. I am witty. I'm cute. Whatever you want to tell yourself. Okay. Don't be worried about being too narcissistic. Okay. Or feeling that you value yourself too much, because if you're asking yourself this question, am I too narcissistic? Then probably you're not, in a sense. And the reason why I say that, some people may disagree with that. And the reason why I say that is because you have a sense of what is too much, right? And you feel like you're kind of like on the border when you're saying, am I being too narcissistic? And in most cases, I promise you, you're not being narcissistic. That's just your healthy ego saying, you're kind of at the boundary here, so you might want to question whether or not you are being too narcissistic. But being at the border is perfectly fine. It's kind of like the optimum amount of narcissism, I guess you can put it like that, or the optimum amount of self-esteem you should have for yourself. So practice positive affirmations. Okay, that's something that you can do. You can do while meditating, or what I like to do, which I recommend to you, is there's some things called solfeggio frequencies. I don't know, it's like some Italian. I'll probably have to ask one of my Italian friends. She should have taught me this word, or I should have asked her. But one of these solfeggio frequencies or solfeggio frequencies, I don't know how you pronounce them, which are more healing frequencies. So now we're going to spirituality a bit, and they also come with positive affirmations where you say, I am wonderful, I am beautiful, and you can listen to these while you sleep. And I listen to them pretty much on a regular basis. And when I listen to them, I can tell that when I wake up in the morning, there's definitely a change in the feeling. You know, I wake up, I feel positive. I'm like, wow, it's a beautiful day, even though it's freezing outside. But hey, it's beautiful, you know. I've got so much things to do. I'm looking forward to the day. But when I don't listen to these frequencies or that often, then I wake up and I feel more down. I'm not really in the mood, in a sense. I look at things in a more pessimistic way, which you don't want to do. So I highly recommend that you listen to these solfeggio frequencies. I'll link everything in the description. If you're a spiritual person, then definitely changing your belief system comes down to mostly two things, in my opinion, which is meditation. It's just been proven to increase your gray matter in your brain, and positive self-affirmations. Okay, you cannot stuff negative emotions. That's normal. Okay, there needs to be a balance. That's pretty much the rule in the universe. Everything has a balance. Just like this universe, it's a zero-sum universe, which is kind of an interesting topic, but we'll talk about that at a later date. And the next one, which was challenging yourself. Now, this kind of ties in together with changing your belief system, which is that when you challenge yourself, you're kind of looking at yourself in a more optimistic way. You know, you feel like you can do this. People are telling you that it's impossible to do, you know. For me, for instance, one of the things that I really want to do, which is not tied into tech or to music, because I really love those things, is become a motorcycle racer for the Isle of Man, which is the deadliest motorcycle event in the world, but it's in the name, Isle of Man, so you know I kind of have to do it. And whenever I tell people about this, you know, they're always like, yeah, that's impossible. Yeah, you need to do this, you need to do that. But this is more of a challenge for myself, and something that keeps you going, because when you challenge yourself, you give yourself something, you know, to live for, in a sense. It gives you something to look forward to today. So let's say you want to improve your German skills. You wake up in the morning and you're like, yeah, today I have to do this, this, and this. And this gives you an incentive to wake up in the morning and go after what you want. So challenging yourself is definitely something that I think can really benefit your self-esteem as well. I know counterintuitively, it may seem that if you're trying to achieve something impossible, then you're going to feel bad about yourself that you don't achieve it. But you need to look at things from in incremental stages. So every little improvement that you make should be counted as success. Don't count the whole thing as in one success. It's not binary either. You've got it or you haven't. I mean, in a sense it is, but you need to be more focused on incremental success, these little successes. So, you wake up in the morning, you do 6 push-ups instead of 5 push-ups. That's a success. Or you decide to stop smoking a cigarette for one day. That's also a success. Whether you smoke it the next day, okay, you might say, okay, I failed my goal not to smoke cigarettes, but by you not smoking a cigarette for one day, that's an incremental success. So you need to celebrate this, and you need to be more aware, or you need to be more proud of yourself that, yeah, guess what? I didn't smoke for 24 hours. And believe me, for some people, this is something really difficult to do. So be proud of yourself and be proud of your incremental successes. And lastly, which is, don't be afraid to be your true self. And of course, this is all coming back to the quotes, or to the quote that I wrote, which is that don't be afraid to be yourself. People are going to think that you're weird. People are going to think that they're not going to be in tune with what you want, but that's okay. Okay, that's okay. Not everyone in this world is going to like you. Okay. Not everyone is going to feel like they want to be your best friend or something. And it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. What matters is whether you can respect yourself. Okay. Because if other people respect you, but you don't respect yourself, then this doesn't make much of a difference. You're still going to be depressed. But if you respect yourself, right? But other people don't respect you, they say, yeah, you know what? This guy is a loser, whatever it is. You're not really going to care, because you're just going to be like, you know what? It doesn't matter, because that's all on them. It's what they feel about themselves, which is kind of an interesting take, which is that when people view you in a negative aspect, or they judge you in some way that's negative, it's not really a reflection of who you are. It's mostly a reflection of how they see themselves, and a lot of people are unhappy. A lot of people don't want you to succeed. So whenever you try something new, they judge you. They say, hi, that's funny. You like something different, blah, 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 blah. But that's because they're not truly happy with who they are. So you should take that to account whenever you're worried about whether people accept you or something like this. Don't even bother worrying about such thoughts about whether people accept you or not. It's not really important. What you need to, of course, it's important to have friends, okay? But it's also important to surround yourself with people who are more in line with your goals. So if you want to be someone who's like a successful musician, excuse me, my voice is breaking now because I've been talking for a while. So if you want to be someone who wants to be a successful musician, then you want to hang out with the successful musicians. You want to hang out with John Mayer. You want to hang out with Jimi Hendrix, with Stevie Ray Vaughan, with B.B. King, with, I'm mentioning all dead guys. What the fuck? Yeah, with anyone who is successful. So if you want to be a successful racer, then you want to hang out with people who are successful, with experts, because that's how you build your skill. Okay. But all this comes down to whether you are not afraid, or this basically comes down to whether or not you are afraid to be yourself. And never be afraid to show your true colors. Never be afraid to be who you are. And I get the feeling that a lot of people walk around with fake masks, especially when it comes to relationships. You see this woman, you think that she's perfect, right? And then when you get into a relationship with her, it's just a complete disaster because she has low self-esteem or whatever it is, and she's not really who she showed you. And this is the problem. Okay, this is the problem, is that people are too afraid to show who they are. And if you show who you truly are, then the right people will walk into your life. You don't have to be fake, because if you act fake, right, and you attract people who think that that's who you are, then soon enough they're going to realize that you're fake and disappear. So don't be afraid to be your true self. It doesn't matter whether you think you're a weirdo. It doesn't matter whether you think that people are going to make fun of you. The only thing that you need to ask yourself is, who am I? That's the number one thing that you need to ask yourself. So in conclusion, what are the 4 things that you need to do? What are the 4 things that you need to do to embrace your fears and to find your true self? The first one being, there's no need to hide or pretend that you have no fear or no fears. It's not a problem, but action is required. And it's like this with everything in life. The first step is to accept yourself, accept the situation, not what the situation was or what the situation will be. Accept the situation right now as it is. And also, you need to be honest with yourself and honest with what you want in life. People are going to judge whatever you want to do. It doesn't matter what people think of you. Okay. I mean, maybe to a degree, it matters a bit, but what should matter the most to you, okay, is what you think of yourself, and to be honest and go after what you want. The second one was, be careful with what you tell yourself. You need to change your belief system. You need to meditate. Okay. Think positive, listen to positive affirmations. Because you're gonna have negative feelings sometimes, and this really doesn't matter. Okay, this really doesn't matter. No one is perfect in this life. No one doesn't have negative emotions. Everyone has this. So you need to focus more on the positive aspects, meditating, focusing on the present moment, what it is, what is not going to be, or what was. And focus on positive affirmations. I am beautiful. I am unique. I am lovable. I am cute. I'm whatever, right? Third, challenge yourself. What do you want to do that seems impossible? Do you want to become this famous chef? Do you want to become better than Gordon Ramsay? Do you want to be the top racer at the Isle of Man, like me? Then go after what you want. It doesn't matter whether it seems impossible or not. Okay? The sky is only the limit. You don't need to worry about whether something is impossible, because you don't know what the future holds. Okay. You don't know. 5 years from now, you may be even the CEO of Apple, and you wouldn't have seen that coming. Okay. So you don't need to worry about that. Believe in yourself and challenge yourself. That's the key. And the fourth one is, which I think, for me is probably the most important right now, which is that don't be afraid to be your true self. Don't be afraid to show yourself to the world and say, hey, yeah, I'm this guy. I like doing this. I like doing that. In other words, don't hide your dick. Okay. That's what the saying goes. And ask yourself, who am I? Who am I? And what do I want? So yeah, that was the first entry to my podcast series. And man, this was something interesting. I mean, I've never done something like this before, so it may seem all over the place. I mean, I've done YouTube videos before, but I never did them in one take. So I'm actually really proud of myself. This is also an incremental success, So yeah, guys, take care of yourselves. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you found some information out of this. And if you didn't, hit me up, of course. Talk to me directly. Hit me up on Instagram. You can follow me at Mwape Chintu. Or you can go on my Facebook page, which is at Mwape Chintu Official. I think my website, which will be, it will be down, I think, on the 29th, because I'm revamping the whole entire experience. Yeah, so the website will be down for maybe a couple of weeks, 2 weeks, or probably a week or something like this. And then after that, I'll be relaunching my website, which will be something that I think aligns with who I am right now. Because I wanted to start from a clean slate. That's something that I love doing. So yeah, I'll be keeping you guys updated on that. Projects are there. If you follow me on Instagram, then you know what's coming, and that I have a lot of projects that I just love doing. I just wake up in the morning and I look forward to something to do. It's such a beautiful feeling. But anyways, guys, stay strong. Okay. In whatever path you're taking, whatever journey you're on, Stay strong and trust yourself, because if you don't trust yourself and if you don't stay strong, then no one will be strong for you. No one will trust you. Okay? So stay strong, be different, lead the pack, and always trust yourself. Have yourself a beautiful, beautiful evening. Mwape.